The Nigerian Senate has passed the Police Trust Fund Amendment Bill for second reading, paving the way for major reforms in police funding and operations across the country. Sponsored by Senate leader Okpeyemi Bamidele, the proposed legislation seeks to repeal the 2019 Act and establish a stronger framework to support the Nigeria Police Force through improved financing, equipment, and infrastructure. Leading debate on the bill, Senator Bamidele said the amendment became necessary due to persistent challenges facing the police, including inadequate funding, obsolete equipment, poor infrastructure, and low personnel morale amid growing security threats such as insurgency, kidnapping, and cybercrime. A major provision of the bill proposes increasing the statutory allocation to the Police Trust Fund from 0.5% to 1% of the revenue. Lawmakers assured that strict oversight measures will be put in place to ensure transparency and accountability. The bill has now been referred to the Senate Committee on Police Affairs, expected to report back within 2 weeks.
Mr. President, you will recall that one of the problems associated with policing in Nigeria is the fact of lack of adequate funding, which in the first place necessitated the passage of this Police Trust Fund. Mr. President, I think that the time has come that we must frontally confront the problem of inadequate funding of our security agencies, especially the police.
That what we are doing. Mr. President, when you look at number 4 on the submission of the Senate leader, 1% of total revenue accruing to the federation account. That's really huge. In addition, allocated development levies under relevant tax laws, which you had passed recently. These are statutory allocations. However, what should be paramount in our mind is grants and intervention from federal and state local governments. More often than not, that has not been disclosed. Donations and international support from bilateral and multilateral partners. We know these things, but it has never been disclosed. Private sector contributions and endowments, we also acknowledge that, but it has never been disclosed.
That what we are doing now is not in any way in breach of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is the grand wrong. I want to crave your indulgence and refer you to Section 80, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Exactly.
Subject to your indulgence, I will read, because that provision is very clear and unequivocal.
Please read.
No monies shall be withdrawn from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation except to meet the expenditure that is charged upon the fund by this Constitution, or where the issue of those monies has been authorized by an Appropriation Act, Supplementary Act, or an act first in pursuance of Section 81 of the Constitution. An act first pursuant to
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the primary duty of any government is the protection of lives and property. Without security, governance collapses, economic growth stagnates, and social cohesion deteriorates. Across our nation today, we are confronted with complex and evolving security threats, ranging from insurgency and banditry to kidnapping, armed robbery, cybercrime, and communal unrest. These challenges have placed enormous pressure on the Nigerian police force, which remains the frontline institution for internal security. However, distinguished colleagues, it is evident that the police force is constrained by inadequate funding, obsolete equipment, poor infrastructure, insufficient training, and welfare challenges affecting morale. As a result, this bill, therefore, is a deliberate legislative intervention to address these systemic deficiencies in a sustainable and structured manner.
Section 81 of the Nigerian Constitution says, you said any act, the Section 80 says, any act passed in line with Section 81 of the Constitution. Now, listen to Section 81. Section 81 says, the President shall cause to be prepared and laid before each House of the National Assembly at any time in each financial year estimates of the revenues and expenditure of the Federation for the next following financial year. We are not considering the estimates of the revenues and expenditure of the Federation. We are talking about Police Act. Are you hearing me? So if we need to include Police Act and then pass the new finance allocation formula, the Police Act will be there. And when we pass that, that now comes in consonance with the Constitution. So is there anybody who is opposed to this bill going for second reading so that we can brush it up? Those in support that it goes for second reading say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we were just talking grammar.